Good morning, folks. It's Monday, just after lunch, and I'm just setting up on my new welding table, my mini welding table, to weld these parts up for the pipe bender. We've also had some goodies arrive this weekend. Very boring, 2 coils of foil back tape, which is excellent for doing flues with. And the more interesting part is the correct regulator and some pipe for the brazing hearth. So sometime this week I will put that on and we'll have another go with the brazing hearth and see if it works any better. That's 37 bar, that's the correct pressure. But for now, what's that frog doing there? For now I shall crack on and get those TIG welded. So when they're done I'll bring you back. So see you in a bit. The fire, needless to say, is lit. It's quite cold this morning. It's a heavy frost this morning, and the boiler's chesing away. And I've just turned the fan on, and we're getting heat round the workshop. So it's beginning to be lovely. Put that frog down. Right, I'll crack on. See you in a bit. There we are, folks. All tigged up, ready to paint, and it's pie and tea time. I had an interruption, as usual. My cuz came down and couldn't get the bloody wheel off his car, which is alley wheels, was one of those stupid thief-proof nuts. Well, it certainly stopped us stealing the wheels because I can't get the bloody thing off. And the thief-proof nut remover has now knackered itself, so he's calling the AA out to see if they can do anything with it. The problem is, with alloy wheels and with all types of wheels, the man at the tyre centre sits on his windy gun and falls asleep while it's going bang, 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 bang and tightening the nuts up, and then he wanders around with a torque wrench and goes click, click and thinks he's done it right. They don't seem to realise that you're only supposed to use the torque wrench to put the wheels back on with, right? And you're supposed to set them at a different setting for every car and every different type of nut and everything, with the result that your car tyres, wheels, are grossly over tightened almost every time you go into a tyre centre, and the chances of you getting those off at the side of the road, unless you've got the very best tools and you don't have a thief-proof nut on, are absolutely minimal. If the guys at the tyre centre start windy gunning mine back on, I shout at them and say, no, you don't do it like that. And they look at me like I'm some sort of bloody moron. But I will not have my tyres banged on with a windy gun, because you just can't get the bloody nuts off. Right, rant over. I'm going to have my dinner. Bye now. And there we are, folks. All fixed in place. Just some little pegs to drop onto. And there we are. Some have big pegs and some have little pegs. Job done. I'm just finishing my brew. It's lovely and warm in here. Look at that gauge. That's 75 degrees. And a completely smokeless fire. There you go. Right, I shall pack my TIG up and I shall get ready to see if I can find some bits to make some adapters for the light blue ones to fit onto the 35mm ram. So that's next little job, and then I can use it. Oh, I want some bits of pipe just to hold those up in the middle, like that. 2 short pieces of pipe cutting for there to hold those up in the middle. Right? Or in actual fact, it only needs one, doesn't it? It only needs one to hold it up in the middle, because it will never be used upside down. So just one piece of pipe. See it big, keep it simple. Right. Onward and ever on. Bring you back later if I get anything more done today. I've got to deliver the fridge tonight. So that's out of here. And unfortunately, due to my wife's request, I've had to bring the I've had to bring the exercise machine that she didn't want back here because nobody's bought it, so there you go. So one thing goes and another thing comes back. Right, I'll bring you back later if there's something more interesting to tell you today. Bye now. Folks, that's it for today. I've got to go and deliver this fridge. But that could be, that's a piece of 35mm internal pipe that I found. That on top of there, that on top of there, and that's it. That's our adapter. Or, if I can find a bolt, it could bolt through there, and that could go on there instead, like that. Bolt through there like that. I don't know yet. I've been trying to rush and finish it, but I'm not going to get it finished now because it's 4:30 and I've got to take this thing. But anyway, they're fixed on. I need a couple of pieces of pipe about 1 inch long for under there, and then we're ready to go. So it's time to wind up Monday. Time to wind up Monday. That's burnt out nicely. Turn the heater off, and I'm going to go and deliver this fridge. Right, people, see you all tomorrow. Bye for now. Good morning, people. It's 2:20 and Keith's just gone, and we've just been and done a poo run, so I'm just sort of starting, and I may have to take him into Driffield because he's got to drop his car at the garage. I may have to go and pick him up, so I'm not sure what I'm doing yet today. The fridge has gone. Thank goodness for that. I delivered it last night and got paid for it. Unfortunately, this is back. This exercise machine is back. I'm going to have to sell that as well. It is on the local Facebook and everything, but I've got to start moving this stuff. I was just looking at this table and thinking that outside I have an old fire door which will have a top on it, which will make a top for it, is what I'm trying to say. And I might just have a look at that while I'm waiting for Keith to ring me and to find out if I've got to go to Driffield yet again. So that's Tuesday. It's cold in here because I haven't lit the fire yet, because there's no point if I'm going to Driffield. So I'll leave you with it, and I'll let you know what's going on in a bit, and I'll bring you back if there's anything interesting happens, which, knowing my life, something probably will. Bye now. Hi folks, I'm back, and I've made a mess. Isn't that typical of me? In a fit of being sidetracked, I decided that I could make room by turning this table into a real table with a shelf underneath it, possibly even 2 shelves underneath it later, but at the moment I can put those 2 pieces of box section on there with some a piece of steel welded in the end and 2 tapped holes in it, and then I can put what's left of the box section in between the spaces, which will strengthen the whole thing up, and I can put this piece of restored fire door on as a lid, as a tabletop, and possibly even put a piece of steel over it, a sheet of steel over it, and then I could stand on there. I've put casters on as well. They may need to be tacked, but they're good strong casters, and that's the main thing. And then I could put on it, possibly, well definitely, the Jones and Shipman centres, bench centres, and I could also store a load of stuff underneath it as well. I was even thinking that I could put the Black & Decker valve seat, valve grinder, valve face grinder on it, but I think that might be pushing it a bit. It's very heavy, is that, very heavy. I might just make a separate stand for that, again with maybe some casters on it. I don't know, we could give it a try. I don't want to overload it. This is very thin box section, very thin box section indeed. I might have to just put a couple of tacks on those casters just to keep them on. I'll put them on with self tappers at the moment, they just fit exactly, but I might have to put a couple of tacks on just to keep them in place. And as you can see, it's very thin box section, but of course in compression it's quite strong and it'll do the job. So there we are. So that's what I've got sidetracked into today, because I've had 2 trips out with my cousin. He's got his the stupid locking wheel nuts taken off and ordinary wheel nuts put on, so he's well away now. And we had to go out again and do that, so I had nothing that I could really get my teeth into, because I didn't have enough time left. So I thought, crack on, clear some room, get that table done. You've got the box section, just get it done. So that's what I did, and I shall finish that tomorrow and then go back onto the bender, which is almost finished. Oh, I was making the adapter, wasn't I? I shall make that in the morning as well. Get that done, and then we're good to go. We're good to bend pipes. That's what I was doing. I could have cracked on with that, but as usual, I got sidetracked. I could put the gas. Oh, I've got so many little jobs to do. Right, I'm going to crack on because it's nearly time to go home, and I've got to go down to my brother's for a fitting for my leather apron that he's making for me. So there you go. Right guys, I'll catch you later. If anything else happens, I'll bring you back and show you it. Bye now. Good morning people. Wednesday, and we're doing some jig drilling. Little bits of metal with 2 holes in. Little bits of metal that fit in the top of a piece of box section, and they're about to have 2 M6 nuts welded on the back so that I can fix these pieces of box section to that table. So I'm on with that, I'm well on with that. As I say, it's just gone lunchtime, and here's an interesting repair. A Grundig premium line food mixer. Very well made, cast metal, sort of, I would guess, sort of a copy of a Kenwood Chef, but its speed control doesn't work. It doesn't come on. When you switch it on, it doesn't come on. So I'm expecting to see possibly a bunch of resistors with one of them popped, or even something just ridiculous like a dry joint. I don't think it's electronic, because that's a switch with click positions. It's not a, it doesn't feel like an electronic switch, it feels like a wafer switch. So we'll have a look at that later on, or maybe tomorrow. But that's it for today. That's what we're doing today. So what I'm going to do next is get the rest of these bits of metal drilled, and then I shall get the nuts welded on the back of them, and then I shall weld them into the end of the pieces of box section. I shall keep the one with the 4 centre punch marks on it as my jig. I've lost it. Where is it? Oh Christ. Oh, where have you gone? It's probably on the drilling machine with some more in it. Yes it is. Right, so that's what I'm going to keep one as a jig, right, and I'm going to use that to mark the holes on the outside of the box section before I drill it. So I'm going to crack on with this, and when I've got on with something and there's something nice and interesting to show you, I'll bring you back. Bye for now. Here we are people, on the temporary welding table and all ready for welding, and there's the box sections that the first 4 are going in. So I'm going to crack on with these and then weld them in the end of the box section. It's lovely and warm in here. Look at that. 90 degrees, is it 90? 80 degrees, 80 degrees coming out in there. All on that. I'm very pleased with the way that works, as I've told you many times. Alright, bring you back in a bit when I've done it. Bye now. That's it folks. It's a lovely warm workshop, and it's bye Wednesday because I've got to go and take my daughter to the orthodontist. But we've got those done. They've come out all right. Ends welded in. If I was doing it again, I wouldn't bother with the nuts. I'd just drill and tap the pieces of plate because it is thick enough. But there you go, you learn by experience, don't you? But I've always, I mean, when I've been making stuff and I've needed a threaded hole, it's always been quicker to weld a nut on the back than it has to sort out the drills and the taps and piss about and tap it. But I've usually been working with thinner materials, and I've usually been working with nuts much bigger than M6. With M6 you have to gently catch the nut with the weld, or otherwise you burn through and ruin the nut. So I won't be doing that again. I shall be drilling and tapping. So there's a lesson for you. Right, that's it. It's just gone, it's about 3:15 and I've got to go. So that's it for Wednesday, folks. I'll bring you back tomorrow and we'll finish that bloody table which I've got sidetracked onto in trying to clear some room, and now I'm doing that and not bending pipe. Never mind. Bye now. Hello people, it's Thursday, 3:30, and I've made a table. Right, now I'm going to put a cross member there and a cross member there and a shelf on there and a top on it. And then I'm going to put that on it and probably other stuff underneath it. So I probably shouldn't have bothered in the first place, but once I've started I'll finish. Or not, as the case may be. There's my tabletop. Right, but now, just for 5 minutes, I'm going to whip this out onto the bench and see if it's a quick fix or a spare parts required. So I'll do that and I'll bring you back when I'm inside it. Okay, see you in a minute. Well, there we go, folks. I looked everywhere, couldn't find any screws. So we have to peel off the sticky back knob, take the 2 screws out the control knob, take the 2 screws out the escutcheon, peel back the aluminium trim. This is going to be a fiddly job to put that together. And there's the screws that hold the top on. So in 2 minutes we'll be in. Folks, so we're in like Flynn, as my Aussie fellow YouTuber says. And what is revealed is a massive amount of unnecessary complexity. We have 2 boards, all of which have apparently glued in plugs and glued in wires, so it's quite well made, but as to what is wrong with it, oh, hang on, is that a black splat mark there? Give it the sniff test. It doesn't really. That does look like there's been an explosion down there. I'll have a look. I'll have a poke around, and I might bring you back. But this is really, actually, this gearbox mechanism, this electric motor, is actually quite well made. One would have hoped that the brushes would be worn out, but unfortunately I don't think they are. But there you go. Right, I'm going to have a poke around and see what I can find, and I'll bring you back. But that's rather disappointing to find such a bloody complex motor. I don't think the Kenwood chefs had anything like this in them at all. In fact, as I remember it, they didn't. Alright, I'll have a look and bring you back. See you in a minute. Well, here we go, folks. Grundig, but it carries the timeless legend, made in China. Right, so this is going to require more research. As far as I can see, the motor is working. It's got the circuit through the motor from the circuit board, so I am to assume that the circuit board itself is not getting any feed. So that's the next thing I'm going to check. See if we're getting a feed. The brushes are fine. See if we're getting a feed as far as the circuit board. I presume this is the power supply, but I may be wrong. It has been known very, very often that I've been wrong. Okay, I'll carry on and bring you back. It is, we are getting power to the appliance, because when you turn it on, the little blue light comes on. So we know we're getting as far as the appliance. So I shall do a bit more, and then I shall just write it off to research tonight on the internet to see what we can find out. But it ain't looking good, because getting these circuit boards for this Chinese made stuff, they usually cost a bloody fortune, or they're not available, or oh, that model's obsolete, or etc, etc. So we're going to have to just suck it and see. Right, I shall go a bit further. It's going on 4:30, folks, actually, so whether I'll bring you in, if I make some wonderful discovery, I'll bring you back. That mark down there isn't an explosion, it's just black sealer. So there you go, and all these little plugs are firmly in their holes. I've had a look at the circuit board, there's nothing obviously blown or even overheated on the circuit board. But I'm a great believer in these things, about never looking for a complicated problem, because it's usually something simple. Right, so what I'll be looking at is switching, or at least where the power comes in. I'll find out where the bloody power comes in, and we know we're getting power somewhere. We know we're getting power on somewhere. I'll check it out and I'll let you know in a minute. Bye for now. Oh, looky here. There's the fault. It's a little micro switch at the back of that. I don't know if you can see that. Let me just see if you can see it. At the back of that switch is a little micro switch, and it's not breaking for some reason. I'm going to have a look at that. But as I suspected, and as I always tell myself, never believe it's something complicated, because it usually isn't. Look. It's not going to go now. I think we found the fault though, haven't we? I think that micro switch has to be open for it to start, and I think it's closed all the time. Because when you turn it right to off, it opens momentarily. Anyway, it looks like I found the fault there, but it's time to go home. So I shall be doing some research on this tonight, and I shall be probably fixing it tomorrow, folks. But there really is no need for all that complexity. There really isn't. Never mind. We'll see what we'll see. Right, folks. Today's Thursday and tomorrow's Friday, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye for now. Good afternoon, folks. It's Friday, and I think I've just about sussed this thing. There's something weird about the switching mechanism, and that I've had that micro switch out, and I've bent the arm slightly, and I've filed a bit off the plastic cam that operates it, and now it's working, and it goes through all its speeds and all its cylinders. So I'm going to put it back together and call it fixed, even though sometimes it doesn't work. And I don't understand fully why it doesn't work, because the switch, when I got it, the micro switch wasn't operating. Now the micro switch is operating, but it may have caused a fault in the circuitry or something, or it's a minor fault, or there's something a bit weird about it, or I don't know how to use it because I haven't got the instructions. But as far as that goes, it works now, and it wasn't working before. So there you go. It is, of course, made in China. Now that light stayed on, now it's flashing. It still going to work. It is of course made in China and not Grundig at all, not made in Germany. It's a very well made thing. I mean, it's all cast metal, it's all cast aluminium, so, you know, anyway, I'm going to call that it. I'm going to call that it. I was going to tell you something else then. What was it? Oh, I've just been disturbed yet again. My cousin came down and I had to pop up to his house and reinstall his Thunderbird and sort his email client out for him because he was having trouble with that. So there you go. I can't think what it was now. It was something really important and phenomenally interesting, but never mind. Yeah, it's still working. Still working. Right, I'm going to call that fixed. Oh, I know what it was. I did some research on this last night. I put the model number and the make into Google, and back came up to about 2005, I think, dozens of complaints about this mixer, all of which had exactly the same fault, that this light is flashing, and when the light is flashing, when you turn it on, it doesn't work. Like that. Right? It's done it again. It's done it in front of your eyes. Now the light's gone off. Now it'll work. And there it goes. Let's see if the light goes off. Is the light going to go off? No, it's flashing again. But it works. That's as far as I'm willing to go with this. Right? It's working. Apparently, from what I read last night on the internet, hundreds of people have bought these, and when this fault occurred, which it all seems to be the same fault, the blue light flashes but it won't work. When you turn it onto mix, it won't go. I think it's all down to that little micro switch down there that doesn't quite break. Right? It gets to the middle off position, but it doesn't quite break. And what I did was I got this wonderful Lidl's Dremel tool and I took a tiny shave off the nylon cam. Now if the cam is nylon, it's possible that the nylon has swollen slightly, because nylon absorbs moisture, and when it absorbs moisture it swells. Right? And it's possible that it's swollen slightly and is not switching off properly anymore. But there you are. It's working. She'll be able to use it again. I'm going to tie wrap the wires back up, put it all back together and call it a day on that. Right, and I've got me other I've got my two bars in on my table, and I'm going to put those other two in next. And I was going to get on with that pipe bender thing today, but seeing as I've been disturbed yet again, it doesn't look like I'm going to get it made today, so that's going to be Monday's job. It's lovely and warm in here, thank goodness, because it's bright outside, bright sunshine, but very cold. So, thank goodness the heating's on. Right, I'm going to crack on, get this blooming thing back together, and get it out the workshop. Bye now. Well, that's it, folks. It's the end of the week. I've had me tidy up. It's looking better. The mixer's gone back to the lady, and I hope it's okay. I'm not 100% happy with the repair, but it's working and it's usable, and it is quite an old mixer, because all the people calling into all the appliance repair sites and saying the light on my mixer's flashing, on my Grundig mixer is flashing and it won't start, stopped in about 2005, so I assume that it's been going, it's a well redundant thing now. Certainly there's no listing of any spare parts anywhere that I could find. So that's done. I've not got on much with my table, although I've got those two fitted. I've got the worktop, I haven't fitted it yet, I've just put that on to try and pretend that I've made some progress this week. Those are the two pieces that are going to be across the middle there, just to reinforce the shelf. I might have enough steel to put a steel shelf on there. I'm also thinking about putting a steel top on it, because I've got some steel over there that would do it, and it's not really being used for anything else. So it may end up with the steel shelf and it in the steel top, but it rolls around nicely on the casters. It moves quite well, so I'm quite happy about that, you know. Except when it runs over a self-tapping screw, of course. But there you go. But I've got that done. I've got a little further with the bender. I've got no further with that. And I'm afraid this is what you get. Some weeks my life shoots forward and I get loads and loads of things done and loads of things repaired, and other weeks I just seem to get constantly interrupted and never seem to achieve anything during the week. But I'm afraid you have to take me as you find me. So thanks all for watching. Please subscribe. I noticed that 75% of people who watch the videos still aren't subscribed, and all you have to do is click the button. You don't have to ever come back again. You know, if you hate me that much, you don't have to ever come back again. But I know that a lot of people do enjoy it because I get a lot of nice comments. So please press the subscribe button, send me a comment, give me a like, give me a thumbs up. It all makes a difference, and I'll see you all next week. I've got the extension lead out there because I tried the dehumidifier in the car for the day because it's rather damp, but I'm afraid it was just too cold outside for the dehumidifier to work. It's very cold outside now. The moon's out and it's very clear, and my brother just came in and said, watch the ice on your way home. So that's it, folks. I'm closing down. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week. Bye now.